always liked Elon, and I was very surprised. You saw the words he had for me, the words of, and he hasn't said anything about me that's bad. I'd rather have him criticize me than the bill, because the bill is incredible. It's the biggest cut in the history of our country. We've never cut. It's about 1.6 trillion in cuts. It's the biggest tax cut. You would say, people's taxes will go way down, but it's the biggest tax cut in history. It's we are doing things in that bill that are unbelievable. And when you look at what we're doing for small businesses, for people, for middle income people, all of the things that we're doing, nobody's ever seen it.
Hey, what's going on, Bull Runners? Welcome back to the channel. Today's news is wild. So are we on the edge of a massive crypto conspiracy? Companies are quietly stacking XRP reserves like never before. And why now? And who's pulling the strings? Then we've got Trump's family crypto project, World Liberty Financial, sending a cease and desist letter over a shady Trump branded wallet. Is someone trying to cash in on the Trump name? And hold up, Circle, the powerhouse behind USDC, just hit the New York Stock Exchange with $1 billion IPO. Is this the moment stablecoins take over? Oh, and don't miss the spicy clash between Trump and Elon Musk, shaking up the crypto and financial markets today. What's really going on here? The crypto market is moving fast, and if you're not paying attention, you might miss the biggest opportunities or traps of 2025. Stick with me as we break it all down for you piece by piece to help you stay ahead of the game. And here's the kicker. Stick with me until the end. I'm going to give you an exclusive sneak peek into Altcoin Pro University, our crypto education platform that'll teach you how to navigate this wild market like a pro. Plus, we will be jumping over to X to find out all the breaking news that's happening in the financial world today. We'll also jump over to Forex Factory and take a look at the red folder news going on this week. We did get the unemployment claims numbers today. We'll do a deep dive on why more companies are building on the XRP reserve. We'll also jump into the XRP charts, and we'll also be taking a look at the long-term and short-term momentum waves. Looking at this chart, I can see an interesting pattern develop, and we'll go ahead and show that at the end of this video. But first, let's head over to CoinMarketCap and check out the overall health of the crypto market today. And by the way, if you're like most people where you don't have the opportunity to spend hours a day in the crypto news like we do for you here on this channel, make sure you subscribe. And if you are still feeling bullish about this current bull run, let me know by commenting 777 down below. So today, we do have a $3.17 trillion total market cap, down 3.65%, which is a huge move for total market cap. As we can see here in the 30-day chart, we did officially break below that $3.2 trillion mark. We were talking about this for the last couple of days, that we did not want to break below this level right here of 3.22, because now, unfortunately, we have a new lower low. So we have to zoom out a little bit more. Now looking at the yearly, as we can see, when we bottomed out back here in April 8th, started making our push, we had this level right here became a high, and then it pushed up to this level right here, became a high, and this was our new high right here. 3.52 trillion is our most recent total market cap high. What we're looking for is to not create a new lower low on this larger time frame. The new lower low, we cannot break below 2.94 trillion. If we can at least maintain that $3 trillion bounce at or above that level, then great news is we'll then have a new higher low in the scenario, and we'll see that push to finally break back above all-time highs of total market cap 3.7 trillion. Now, we did have a massive amount of volume today, $136 billion worth of volume. Unfortunately, lots of sell-side volume. Fear Greed Index currently sitting at 55. Yesterday was a 57. Last week was a 65. Altcoin Season Index dropped a little more. We're at 22 out of 100. So it is still full on Bitcoin season, meaning you would not lose as much money as long as you're holding just Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin dominance is at 63.7%. And in an interesting move here, we do have $87 million worth of inflows into the Bitcoin ETF. So 2 positive days of inflows. Today's massive drop, obviously because of the Trump Elon Musk scenario. We're going to get into that here in a little bit light in the video. But as you know, I love following the ETF tracker because it is typically a front runner of the price. As we can see, when price was pumping to the upside, volume was definitely pumping to the upside into the ETFs. And as of recently, we started falling off on volume and having outflow days last week to the downside and this week. This is on the 30 days. We zoom out to the 1 year and we can see last week ended up in a negative scenario, minus $71 million. This week, 194 million to the upside. So at least we are positive for the week. But as you can see, volume is nothing like these couple of weeks prior. So it is not looking strong right now for the Bitcoin ETF. However, interesting, Ethereum's ETF continues to gain steam and momentum on the 30-day chart. Zooming out to the yearly, as you can see, the last 3 weeks have actually been pretty significant volume inflows into Ethereum, 248 million, 285 million, and this week already 244 million. So keep an eye on Ethereum. It does have a nice pattern printing in the charts as well, which we've been covering. Will we see a nice pump for Ethereum and an altcoin season? We'll take a look at those charts at the end of this video. Jumping over to Forex Factory to check out the red folder news. As we've been covering all week, all the red folder news that has been coming out. But what we said was watch out for Thursday's unemployment claims. We need unemployment claims to be a positive number. Unfortunately, the forecast was 236,000, and then we had a 247,000 unemployment claim report. That is always a bad indicator for Bitcoin. When we have a low jobs unemployment claim number high, then we end up having a sell-off in Bitcoin. And then to exacerbate that, Trump and Elon are fighting about the big, beautiful bill. Trump wants the big, beautiful bill to pass. Elon thinks it's full of pork and overspending. Trump's now threatening to pull all of Elon's government contracts, including SpaceX. So Elon responds by saying, fine, then we'll just deconstruct all of the freaking ships at Starbase. Like, it is getting absolutely crazy. If you have not been on X today, you must go check it out. And speaking of X, we're going to head over there now to check out the news. Don't forget while you're there to make sure you follow us, BullRunners HQ, at BullRunners HQ, BullRunners with the blue check mark. And don't forget to enter our giveaway. We're giving $100 worth of XRP. Congratulations to Brad Meese for winning last week. All you have to do is follow us on BullRunners HQ, like, retweet, and comment XRP on this post right here, and then subscribe to our daily crypto newsletter, because that's where the winner will be announced, and you must be in there to see the announcement. So over on X, breaking Crypto Geek reports, Ripple just confirmed that they'll retain 25% of all XRP. This move supports long-term sustainability. That means only 75 billion XRP will ever be in circulation for normal people and companies to buy. It's like burning a quarter of the supply without actually doing it, equals extremely bullish signal for XRP. So as it says here, Ripple Labs plans to retain 25% of all XRP issued, fund operations, and hopefully turn a profit and distribute the rest to incent the participation of market makers, gateways, consumers to utilize the protocol. Now, there are some critics out there on X arguing that this move could enable Ripple to manipulate the market or eventually dump the retained XRP, highlighting a tension between Ripple's long-term sustainability goals and community concerns over centralized control in a supposedly decentralized ecosystem. And as you know, if you've been around XRP long enough, the first of the month, Ripple tends to unlock its locked escrow and then relock it away. But usually there's also some strange sell-off at the beginning of each month. You can go ahead and back test it. I've mentioned this numerous times on this channel. Some people understand what's going on. Other people are in the comments absolutely trying to hate on me, saying that they don't actually sell the coins. Well, in their actual paper right here, they're retaining it so they can sell it, so they can hopefully make a profit. So that is what Ripple is doing. Luckily, they haven't dumped an extreme amount on us, and we've been able to maintain a price above $2 as of late. But there is definitely a possibility of them dropping the price anytime if they want to sell a piece of that 25%. And in a surprising announcement, a Spanish coffee chain called Venati Coffee is going to invest over $1.1 billion into Bitcoin for its reserve strategy, like the MicroStrategy and the Meta Planet strategy, following MicroStrategy's Bitcoin-focused approach. The reason that this is, like, people were kind of like blown away by this. It's a chain of coffee shops in Spain that has $1.1 billion of cash on hand that they're able to. This is absolutely, got to get in the coffee business, ladies and gentlemen. This is absolutely astonishing that they have that much cash on hand. So great job for them on running a very, very smart business model, making tons of money, and now obviously putting some money into their Bitcoin reserve strategy. Now, as this crazy fight between Musk and Trump continues to unravel, out of the latest post that he's been posting out there, Musk is saying that Trump's tariffs will cause a recession in the second half of this year. Elon Musk directly affects the markets with his statements. ETH has fallen below 2,500, but we're going to check and see out that pattern that's playing out. And Bitcoin is trying to hold above $100,000. Elon Musk's statements are out of control. If he makes harsher statements, the declines may continue. So a lot of people are calling for a truce on X right now, but this is continuing to unravel. Now, some people out there are saying that this was planned and on purpose so they can fight each other over some stupid idea. And then later on, it's going to disclose some information, et cetera, et cetera. So go check out X, do some of your own research on that one as well. It's pretty interesting and pretty deep to be digging into. And what's really interesting is it started off pretty soft. They were just kind of going back and forth with some banter before they started pulling out personal insults and stuff. But here's what Trump had to say. I don't mind Elon turning against me, but he should have done so months ago. This is one of the greatest bills ever presented to Congress. It's a record cut in expenses, $1.6 trillion. The biggest tax cut ever given. And if this bill doesn't pass, there will be a 68% tax increase, and things go far worse than that. I didn't create this mess. I'm just here to fix it. This puts our country on a path of greatness, make America great again. Now, a lot of people have been digging into the big, beautiful bill, and it is filled with pork, as they call it, which is a bunch of BS that just gets filtered right back to our corrupt politicians in Congress. But the thing is, there's a couple of very, very key points that Trump needs passed and wants passed. So he's fighting for it as well. They're making concessions with each other. It's a quid pro quo, as they say, in the political realm. And as you saw in the intro, Trump did say, I've always liked Elon. I'd rather he criticize me than the bill. The bill is incredible. So this all started, like I said, Elon Musk comes out and says that there's not enough money cuts. He's been saying this now for the last week or two, that we're going to be going bankrupt as a country if we don't stop it. And Trump is not stopping it. He wants to definitely go ahead with this bill. And in big breaking news, the New York Stock Exchange welcomes Circle in celebration of its IPO, initial product offering. For over a decade, Circle has connected traditional finance and digital assets, seeking to create a secure, always-on digital economy. Circle is the new tag. And also, if you guys have noticed, anyone that's been involved with World Liberty Financial, you got yourself an airdrop of $47, equivalent to President number 47, Donald Trump, and this being his coin. But new World Liberty Financial sends a cease and desist letter to the Fight, the company responsible for the Trump-themed meme coin, per Bloomberg. So it is going crazy because Trump Jr. and Eric Trump have come out and said that this Trump wallet is not sponsored by the Trump family. So as we see here, tensions between the competing factions of Donald Trump's ever-growing crypto empire are ramping up, with the company owned in part by President's son sending a cease and desist letter to the organization behind his lucrative meme coin. World Liberty Financial, which the Trump family has a major stake in, sent a letter to Fight, the company responsible for the meme coin, which is run by President's long-term friend and business partner, Bill Zanker, according to a person familiar with the matter, who's asked for anonymity because the letter hasn't been made public. The infighting started when Fight announced Tuesday that it was developing a Trump wallet which will let users trade and hold a meme coin and other digital assets. The company is working with the marketplace Magic Eden, which also got the cease and desist letter. This is getting really interesting because the Trump kids don't want this to happen, because obviously they want their program, the World Liberty Financial, to have the Trump trademark, Trump name, and everything behind it. Meanwhile, Trump's friend and business partner has the Trump coin and now wants to come out with the Trump wallet. So now let's talk about why companies are building XRP reserves like the MicroStrategy strategy, but with XRP instead of Bitcoin. So more companies are listing XRP as a treasury asset. Recently, we had Weebus International, the China-based company, filed their 6K form with the US SEC, and the filing confirmed that they plan to build a $300 million strategic reserve. Today would be a great day for them to go ahead and buy that. I'll tell you what, because that price is down pretty hard today. Weebus is not alone, though. They also have Vivo Power International, also announced a $121 million XRP reserves. And we also have Wellgistics has invested 50 million in XRP. And the list does continue to grow. Other companies such as Alt Capital Group, Bud Corporation, Worksport, and Remix Point have all made similar moves. Why are companies doing XRP instead of Bitcoin? Well, companies choose Bitcoin as a strategic reserve because they believe its value of storing capability during inflation. But what motivates them to select altcoins instead? Well, altcoins are more volatile and often depend heavily on transparency in actions and their development teams. Companies choosing XRP believe XRP's fast transaction speed and low cost make it ideal for cross-border payments, and this could help businesses improve financial efficiency and enhance transparency in global services like Webus's ride-hailing platform. Plus, not to mention, one key development is the integration of RLUSD, Ripple's stablecoin, for payments. And these arguments are gaining traction, especially as experts predict the Genius Act will likely pass. And if approved, it could pave the way for RLUSD's growth. Every transaction using RLUSD on XRP Ledger requires XRP as a transaction fee, and this gradually reduces the supply of XRP, which could drive in the long-term value. And plus, we know Ripple is going to be holding lifetime supply of 25% of their XRP. So very exciting. Some great bull cases right now going on for XRP and companies to build a XRP reserve. Jumping over to XRP in the charts, as we can see today, we're currently at $2.08. Now we're looking at the weekly candles here. One thing I do not like from this peak here of January 20th, our Wolfpack long-term momentum indicator has just been on a steady decline to the downside. Now, the great thing is price has essentially traded sideways. Obviously, big swings ups and downs, but sideways as far as pricing goes, which is a good thing because we haven't had a crazy retracement back into the 55, 60 cent range, which there's massive fair value gaps that have a calling for that on the weekly charts. So long term, we are still bullish. We're above the zero line, bullish on the Wolfpack indicator. Short-term momentum wave, unfortunately, tried to battle back to the upside a couple of weeks ago, failed, and is now retesting back to the zero line. We are waiting for this short-term momentum wave to start turning back up. When we look at it on the 3-day, it's almost completed its drop and reset back to zero. And when we look at it on the daily chart, it recently had a try and attempt to make the move to the upside. But unfortunately, the daily long-term bullish momentum has disappeared since May 29th, and we have been continuously dropping on our Wolfpack indicator. So I use these as strong momentum indicators. Now, you also know, as far as target indicators, I like to use the 1100 exponential moving average on all time frames. Now, as we can see, we've recently lost the 1 hour 1100 exponential moving average. We lost it, retested it, and dropped from there. So then we check the 2 hour. We've lost that. We checked the 3 hour. We've lost that. We checked the 4 hour. We just broke below that in the last 4 hour candle. Unfortunately, we go to the 5 hour. We can see our 5 hour 1100 exponential, which will be a decent target to see as a support level, which comes in here at $2.03. Another interesting thing is price drops to this level and takes out the 1100 exponential moving average. It's also going to be sweeping all of the liquidity under these candles coming all the way back from April 15th of 2025. So there is some stop losses that were placed here when people were going long from this area. It's already swept these lows right here, wiping out all of that liquidity. And now it is potentially chasing this liquidity here. If we lose that, which that level right now is the $2.02 level, it's also a support on our 1100 exponential moving average for the 5 hour. There is potential of dropping from there. We've been talking about $1.90, but even sweeping these lows potentially to $1.60. But let's go ahead and switch to our weekly spider lines chart. And if you're new here, our spider lines comes from CryptoFace. He's also on YouTube and he uses it on Bitcoin, but it works also on XRP. So we're taking the drop from 2018 after the massive push to the upside, and we use the pivot point. We're using the Ray tool on TradingView, and the start point is the weekly candle top, where pivot point is right here, the high of 2021, April 12th weekly candle as the pivot point, and then it shoots the line into the future for the Ray. Now, this has been spectacularly spot on as far as finding support and resistance along the way up. And even on this pullback here, as you can see, our weekly candles bounced exactly off of our $1.90 spider line. Right now, we are bouncing off the 10 exponential moving average, If we lose that, there is a good possibility we return to the $1.90. Now, if you remember, the reason we have this yellow line right here, what we failed to do is make a new higher high. So price was surging to the upside. Unfortunately, we could not break above these candle bodies right here, which are from the week of March 24th. Our week of May 12th could not body close above that, unfortunately. So we now officially have a new higher low. So this was our highest high. Then we had a lower high. Then we had a lower high. And unfortunately, even though it's by like literally 50 cents, it is another lower high. So market structure wise, not looking great. If we go back to these bodied candles right here and we put a line right there, if we break below that, then we continue moving down, creating our next lower low. So when we pull a Fibonacci from this lower high to the lowest pivot point that we have, price did surge up into that 618 level with the bodies rejected. We even had a nice wick nearly to the 786, and it's continued to come down. So flipping back to the daily charts, the most important thing right now is that we do hold the $1.92 level. Once price starts to rebound to the upside, we need to break above the 10 exponential moving average, which we're currently seeing at $2.18, which that's exactly where yesterday's candle rejected off of. Instead of a rejection, we need to see a push above that. And then we're going to be getting into our 50 and 30 exponential moving averages. If we can clear the hurdle of both of those, then we can see that surge back up into making a potential new higher high above $2.42. What I'm really watching for is I'm waiting for our Wolfpack indicator on the daily to get bullish. It needs to make a turnaround here, break back above the zero line. Once we get green, that's when we start to move to the upside. So when we take a look at this, as far as momentum, bullish momentum right now, weekly chart is still bullish. If we look at the 3-day chart, it is bearish. It has now crossed over that zero line as well. It's not looking good. The daily chart, bearish in the red. The 12-hour chart, bearish in the red. The 6-hour chart, bearish in the red. The 4-hour chart just flipped bearish again and broke below its 4-hour 1100 exponential moving average, which would have been a good stop there for us. The 2-hour, bearish. The 1-hour, and it's bearish and pointing down, unfortunately. 30 minutes, we're starting to see at least a leveling out here, and our short-term momentum has started to come up. 15 minutes, it's getting a little bit closer here, but it's starting to round off like it wants to fall again. Also on the 15 minutes, it's rejecting off the 10 exponential moving average. 5-minute just recently tried to breach that level, unfortunately rejected, and is starting to turn to the downside. So right now, today, in the charts, XRP is bearish. Small time frames, larger time frame. Once we see the 5-minute clear this and start to become bullish, flip green above the zero line on the Wolfpack indicator, then we need to see the 15-minute. Then we need to see the 30, and then they continue to climb until we are back above it on the daily with a big, nice momentum turnaround. All right, so looking at Ethereum, as we can see on the daily charts here, Ethereum came down and just hit off of our 1100 exponential moving average. It is holding as a support for right now. Price is in the green long-term for daily, but it is dropping pretty severely. As you saw, XRP is already below. So Ethereum has a bullish case. Now, the other thing for Ethereum, if it does not lose this momentum and start breaking, I mean, there is another support level here at the 50 exponential moving average, 2300. But if we don't get some positive news, Trump and Elon make up, some fake news, whatever that is positive, just to get these markets pumping again, price could likely come there. But then there's some massive fair value gaps that need to be filled, potentially all the way back to 1869. So not exciting to see that. But right now, we're still looking bullish for the time being. What we have is this nice big flagpole up to the top, consolidation here, waiting for a pump to the upside. When you take the flagpole from the bottom to the top to a breakout level, we could see a potential target 3,600 level. Unfortunately, right now, daily's looking bullish, barely. It's barely staying above it. 12-hour just crossed bearish level there. 4-hour bearish, 1-hour bearish, 5-minute maybe. Nope, not even 5-minute coming back. So unfortunately, right now, it's not looking good for Ethereum as well. But this could change in the next hour or two where momentum starts to pick back up. we crossed back over the zero line. But I'm just telling you what is right now while I'm recording this, which is a 5:25 p.m. Pacific time. Going to the Bitcoin. Bitcoin just tried, you can see here on the 5-minute, Bitcoin just tried to make an approach back to the upside, and it's trying to even make a secondary run here. We'll see. That's on the 5-minute. Let's go back to the daily, though. Daily, also bullish. It just bounced off of its 50 exponential moving average on the daily. It did just leave, because that massive drop, a huge fair value gap back to the upside, getting us back to 104,000 if it makes the move to the upside. Clearing this fair value gap to the downside gets us to 97, 98,000. But daily is still green. We could hope for a really nice turnaround to the upside here. 12-hour has gone full bear. 4-hour tried to, look at this, 4-hour tried to break to the upside right here just before that massive crash on us, unfortunately. 1-hour has been bear all the way since June 4th, and then it had a super crash. 30 minutes had a little peekaboo up to the upside. Let's get rid of fair value gaps. Had this little fake out to the upside and then crash on all of us. 5-minute is also flashing there. But it is trying to build momentum back for Bitcoin. So right now, all lower time frames on all coins are bearish. Higher time frames for Ethereum and Bitcoin are still flashing potential bull. It just needs to make a turnaround before crossing the zero line here. And it also has support at this 50 exponential moving average. XRP, unfortunately, on the daily has been down below in the bullish category since May 29th, and it's been dropping ever since May 14th. So we're looking for a massive recovery. It's going to take several days for XRP to even reclaim bullish momentum.
Hey, bull runners, check this out. If you want to learn how to find the next 10x, 50x, or even 100x altcoin in this video, listen to this. Our research team posted GOAT on the 13th of October of 2024 when it was right at a penny, and since then it rallied to over $1 and it's currently still up over 5,000%. That's like turning $1,000 into over $50,000. Our team called Pendle at only a $16 million market cap, or 16 cents, back on February 18th of 2023, all the way back here, and since then it's rallied up over 4,000%. That's a 40x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $40,000. Our team also called BitTensor Tau September 15th, 2022, before the token was ever even launched. And since then, Tau has rallied over 2,000%. That's a 20x. Our team even said Solana is most likely to be one of the easiest trades next year, and this was posted December 29th, 2022, on the day that Solana bottomed out at around $8. And since then, Solana looks like it's up over 2,500%. That's a 25x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $25,000. And the bull run is just getting started. The list goes on and on and on. Our team called Sui, Ondo, and even some of the biggest cult-based meme coins like MOG back in July 20th of 2023, the day that MOG launched. So if you want to learn how our team is finding these altcoins before they explode, we just launched Altcoin Pro University, where our research team gives you real-time altcoin picks with explosive potential for this bull run, along with 100+ expert curated classes crafted by industry experts to discover these gems yourself, on top of our live weekly calls every single week for in-depth crypto market analysis and daily updates. And that's just a fraction of what we offer inside of Altcoin Pro University. Just go through the link in the description below, get in right now, watch the 26-minute video covering everything that Altcoin Pro University offers.